Welcome, adventurers. I am your game master, Will the Wuss. Tonight's quest will take you on an epic adventure to the cliffs of Elfindor.
Not again.
Your party embarks from the Bard's Codpiece Tavern when suddenly the ground begins to shake.
Was that an earthquake?
No, Mucus, this weird chick has been living under my table for weeks. I think she's a cast-off from a bad new metal band.
Do you have to feed her like a pet?
Not really. She eats the crumbs off my floor.
Careful, Mike. She could be an escaped mental patient from Hawkins' nut house. She might slit your throat in your sleep.
Could a mental patient do this?
That was awesome. What other tricks did you teach her?
Mike, I need a hot tub. A big one.
Entitled, aren't we? Put a ring on it first.
It's for my sensory deprivation, so I can have my crazy visions again.
Oh boy, here we go.
I also need 600 pounds of Jell-O, ice cold and shaken.
I'll see if Beyonce is available. That's all the Jell-O. Now to add ice cubes, chill for 2 hours, and top with whipped cream. Remember, we need absolute silence so Ash 11 can concentrate. Are you remembering anything yet?
Shut up! I'm trying. Now I remember. I remember Papa Joe. I was always Papa's favorite smelling child. I was the subject of weird experiments as part of a government mind control program. Until one day, the repeated trauma of long showers with Papa must have triggered my psychic abilities.
Everything I did for the 10%.
I remember walking into the special ward. You know, the one with all the tards and morons.
Oh, look who finally decided to join us. I guess the Lunesta and Ambien cocktail wore off. Now go put on something sexy. We're meeting business partners of mine in an hour. The Russians are busting my balls over my hard drive, so we're going to extort the chinks into blackmailing the Russians and getting me a seat on the board. Plus, they both screwed me over on a ketamine deal. It's all about leverage. Anyway, Dude Dad has connections to the son of a head of a Guangzhou oil firm. Now that's where you come in.
Ah! No, I won't do it. You're not using me as bait in your twisted schemes. It's all my fault. I made this happen. I opened up a gash, time and space, to an alternate dimension. Dustbin, what are you doing in here?
Just thought I'd chill out. Get it? Because it's Jell-O.
Mike, I have to go into the upside-down clown world and save the world or something.
Then we're going with you.
There's an opening to the upside-down clown somewhere in these woods. There's also a lot of animal scat, so try not to step in it. Everybody, hold your nose. There's no regular trash pickup.
Phew. It smells like dead dog's butt up in here. What the hell is that thing?
My brother.
Your brother's a demo moron, dog. Head for the hills.
Oh my god, it's disgusting. The chicks are kind of banging though. Ash Levin, you're back, and you brought me a fresh batch of child actors.
These are my friends, not your personal casting couch.
You sure? I got a wad of cash and a lot of coke.
Is that classic Coke or new Coke?
Meet my friends, famous Hollywood producers James Gorgon from Gorgons of the Galaxy and Brian Singor of X-Men. Fresh meat. Dibs on the chubby one. Fist bump, bro. Ash, use your super psychic powers on this plant puss already. She won't save you. She wants to be famous too badly.
I don't know, Mike. They just offered me a lead role on an Amazon Prime show.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to Hollywood. So our quest ends, but the greatest adventure lies ahead of us.
Shut up. Hey Mucus, I heard they're casting for Black Panther 2.
Nah, hell with that. I'm finna be the next Gandalf.
This is ending just like a real Spielberg movie. Hours of wasted time and I'm half asleep.
Hey guys! Yeah, I know, I'm daydreaming like mad when I really should be hard at work right now. I should be writing my article for BizFed and doing an essay for my gender studies class. It's times like these I just get so stressed out that I go for a long walk and just be me. Maybe I even bump into my friends. They're great and we have heaps of intellectual convos on things like rights and stuff. We're so diverse. You know what? Life is pretty good. But things aren't good all the time. There are some people that just think wrong. Some people are just gross and evil. I'm always on my guard because Nazis and heteronormy breeders are everywhere. It just gets me mad. And when I get mad, I turn left. I am a warrior for my truth and my lived experience. I am justice for the minorities, the poor and helpless people. And I am stunning and brave. I am caring.
Daniel Radcliffe of Harry Potter fame plays Weird Al Yankovic, a new satirical take on Al's life. Weird follows his ascent to fame, but in the years since, the USA has only gotten weirder.
After all my mainstream success and smash hits like Eat It and Yoda, I thought my golden years would be a joyride. But in the 2010s, the climate was changing, the political climate, not the one with all the polar bears. Americans were at each other's throats. All I ever wanted was to make people laugh. But soon everyone began demanding to know my political opinions, so as to know whether they should love me or hate me. Suddenly, songs I'd written decades ago were being scrutinized by today's hypersensitive standards.
I'm fat. I'm really, really fat.
Stop fat-shaming us.
Living in an Amish paradise.
Bah! Thank you for having me on the show. I'm so excited to be here. You know, I found myself trying to please everyone. On one side were liberal urban geeks and nerds. On the other, the all-American flag wavers.
Why is Al on this fascist news network?
Why is Al on this Libby shit show?
Al, don't you love abortion?
Al, don't you trust state welfare?
Stop it! You're tearing me apart! Through it all, I kept my chin up and stayed positive.
I'm drunk and wasted. And sometimes it feels like I'm getting sucked into an endless black hole.
Radcliffe, you're supposed to be playing me, not you! Meanwhile, climate change had affected the music business too. The age of American Idol inspired a wave of lifeless music, so vapid it didn't even merit being made fun of.
Okay, show me the funny. I hope they are better than the last batch.
For the weekends, Blinding Lights, I've Got Binding Tights, and Ed Sheeran's Bad Habits are now Bad Hobbits.
Oy vey, let's face it, the music business is in the pits. There's no sense of cultural unity anymore. The great American songbook is finished. That's where the movies come in. Like this one, cheap and stupid. Streaming services are starving for content. So here's the plan.
No, I won't do it. I won't.
Next summer, Al directs himself in a new comedy.
My agent pulled the plug on producing my marginally funny topical parody songs. So I signed on the line for another 4-hour change wizard oracle with a new Potter movie coming out soon. I make the nerves swoon when they see me on the big screen, gosh. I feel like the prettiest girl in the room. I hope I don't get one steam.
Cut!
Hello and happy Thursday, Practice Friday. You know what I say. Welcome to Creative Chaos, the show that was created to put a spotlight on fascinating people creating fantastic things outside the mainstream, because we all know our culture sucks. And I love the people that are building up our parallel culture and economies, and why I often have people that are creating their own novels, comic books, music. I don't think I've ever had a music person on, but I think I will soon. So that's kind of what we do here on Creative Chaos, is we bring in awesome people to talk culture, maybe a little bit of politics, conspiracy, all that kind of stuff. We have a really good time. And my sidekick Batman is not here yet. We'll see if he pops in, because I was going to change things up tonight and bring him in before I do the sponsorship. But any regular viewer of Creative Chaos knows that Creative Chaos would not exist without Flip City Magazine. It's the whole reason I do this, is to pitch my own stuff. Flip City Magazine is a savage comic satire. And what I've got for you tonight is an update and what's coming up. So we'll be putting volume 22 to bed before next week's Creative Chaos. So we'll gently hand off our latest paper baby to the printer soon. We have this edition up for pre-sale on our store, and you may be asking yourself, but why should I buy it pre-sale? Well, if you're not a regular subscriber and you like to buy Flip Cities as they come out, we must charge shipping. But if you pre-order, we ship it free. So order it now and get that free shipping. And here is a couple of things that you will find inside volume 22 of Flip City Magazine. We have got a quiz to find out if you are living in a dystopian hellhole. That's for people that don't go on social media. Just kidding. It's actually a really good quiz. We have also got Cartoon Trafficking Network. It is a savagely hilarious piece that you will be laughing, but also maybe puking a little bit in your mouth. We've got Hyphenated Americans. And this says, as America becomes more fractured among tribal lines, this is your handy guide to hyphenated Americans. So you'll see many hyphenated Americans in that piece. And then, of course, we've got our Joey B. Toonz interview, and also the premiere of Concerned Citizens Corner, which is the page dedicated to all Joey B. Toonz cartoons, basically making fun of the idiocracy that we're living in. So pick up your volume 22 today. Get the free shipping at flipcitymag.com, or follow the link that I'm about to drop in all of the chats. Look at me multitasking. I'm doing a great job, everybody. I'm getting that link out there. Woohoo! Good job, Christy. flipcitymag.com, or follow the link that is dropped in the chats. And it looks like Batman still has not joined us tonight. George Washington X, if you are out there, I apologize. I know how much you love him. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to check in with chat and say, what is up? I saw Vulcan Lives checked in and said, oh, yeah, here we go. And Ben Sullivan is here on time again today. Ben is my friend.
Ben, you're my friend. Ben, you're my friend. You're the best old Ben there's ever been. Never been a Ben like Ben.
Ben, you're our friend. Also, you are the lead parody artist of every edition of Flip City. And with our next parody being the Joker, which will be in volume 23, not 22. All right, so that is who has checked in over on the YouTube. Let me see what's going on with Pilled here. Giuseppe, hello. Good to see you here. And Maven popped in and said, hey. Cosmic Grandpa in there being a wonderful host, as well as a wonderful producer. Lady Mimi checking in again, saying much love and dropping some Flip City stickers over there and saying hello to everybody else that has popped in. And Giuseppe said, woohoo! I hope that was about volume 22 being on pre-sale, and you're going to hurry over to flipcitymag.com and pick that up because we can use all the revenue we can get. And of course, this wouldn't be a live stream if I wasn't asking you to like, share, and subscribe. So if you're checking in because of the new friend I met Aaron, who I'll be bringing in a second, subscribe to my channel. You might like checking in on Creative Chaos every once in a while. Plus, we have all kinds of cartoons like you saw in the pre-show. Those were all done by Flip City Magazine, taking some of our magazine content and turning it into cartoons. So there's a lot of stuff over there on our YouTube channel and our Rumble and Pilled. I believe they're posted across all those platforms. So like, share, and subscribe. Please help us with that algorithm. And thank you so much for chatting as well. I think I'm getting better at checking in with you guys. All right, let's bring in our guest. So normally I have a slideshow to go with this, but the bio that I asked our guest tonight to send over doesn't really match with anything that I could find. And this is what he sent. Aaron C. is an extremely charismatic indie creator and loving father who found himself in an extraordinary predicament. While crafting notes for his epic 20-year Dungeons & Dragons campaign, something magical happened. The characters leapt from the page and held him hostage. They refused to release him until their tales were shared with the world. Now, that sounds like a pretty epic psychedelic experience. So let's bring him in and talk about it and his delusions. What's up, Aaron?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me.
You got to tell me about these characters leaping off the page.
Well, you know, I'm sitting there, I'm writing out the notes for my Dungeons & Dragons campaign. And as I'm writing out this timeline, it was like, you know, the event slowly turned into a scene, you know, like I'm writing out, you know, dialogue. And once I started writing dialogue, I'm like, oh, I got to write the story, you know. And I've dabbled in writing, like nothing professional, but I've written, you know, short stories and essays and poetry and songs and all that kind of stuff. And so, you know, I could tell I was like, I got to write this out. So I asked my tabletop group, I was like, so if I were to write a story about our adventures, you know, where should I start? And that's where the calling came from.
Okay, fantastic. So you've been doing D&D for 20 years, and it sounds like it might be like the same group over those 20 years.
So actually I've been playing, I'm in my 40s now, so it's closer to like 30 years. Don't I better not jump. Yeah, it's about 30 years, but you know, people have come and gone. So like some of the people that are some of the players of the characters in the first book or in, you know, in the story they're not still at the table, but some of them are. So yeah, the current table I have, well, we actually just lost a player due to work. He got a new job, but man, we've been together probably 15 years now, 10 years, something like that. So I would say 10. That's probably more accurate. So yeah, steady too, almost every weekend. So
okay,
pretty lucky.
Can I show everybody when you first started playing Dungeons and Dragons, what you might have looked like?
Yes.
Okay, let's see that, Cause.
Welcome, adventurers. I am your game master, Will the Wuss. Tonight's quest will take you on an epic adventure to the cliffs of Elfindor.
Not again.
Your party embarks from the Bard's Codpiece Tavern when suddenly the ground begins to shake.
Like that?
It was exactly like that. It's almost like you had a camera in the room with us.
Okay, very good. So kind of like Stranger Things then.
Yeah, probably. You know, when you're a teenager and not a lot to do, so you know your friends get together, and you know, we hadn't really discovered drinking and drugs yet, so we would hang out and play D&D, and it's just something that has stayed with me.
I think you discover drinking and drugs in like the third season of Stranger Things.
I bet you're right. Yeah, that plays out, what, 16, 17, something like that.
Yeah. And I only know that because I started watching Stranger Things again with my daughter a few days
Mhm.
ago, and we're in the fourth season, because
Nice.
you just let it run. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I've seen you on a few other streams, and it sounds like you're pretty interested in creating culture instead of just complaining. I'd
Yes.
love you to take me through your journey of kind of recognizing that the mainstream entertainment, or to a larger extent, like American culture, going straight into the crapper all the way through creating your own comic story. What that look like?
Well, I will say that I did not create my comic because I wanted to create the culture. So, but it's kind of become that as I've gotten into streaming and interviewing and stuff like that. All the indie people that I have across, I mean, I've done like you were saying, I've done novelists, comic books, tabletop games, music. I don't know. There's probably something else in there that I that I've done. In fact, you're talking about music. You should talk with JVP Music. Hit him up on Twitter. He's got a music comic video, or I can't remember exactly what he calls it, but it's a comic video, and then he does all the music for it. So him and Evely Music, they're great indie music guys. So
Yeah, I need to, and that's when I kind of brought up, having musicians on. They are on my list
Yeah.
of people to have on. I think I'd like to have both of them on together because they're
Ooh.
kind of in the same circle of friends. And
Yeah.
I think I met Evely over on the Drink with Crazy channel a while
Okay.
back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know them. In fact, they've been both of them. I've used them as my house band, which they open the show 10 minutes before 6 o'clock. So,
Oh, there we go.
yeah, so I'm familiar with them. But
But
yeah,
as far as it's like, recognizing that like what was going on in the culture, I'd lost my job and I spent probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 months unemployed trying to find something that was better than what I had come from, and so I'm sitting there and I'm waiting. And while I was doing that, I like philosophy. I happened to find a channel called Free Domain Radio, and it was hosted by a guy named Stefan Molyneux. And so I'm sitting there and I'm listening to a lot of his philosophical arguments and his call-in shows and stuff like that. But one of the main things that he was kind of known for is, well, I mean, it depends on who you ask, but he was anarchist, anti-state kind of thinking. He didn't, he wasn't for necessarily like Jungian kind of stuff, or even Freudian. And he relied mostly on Socratic method and Aristotelian philosophy to kind of find the truth, right? And so he would also do these videos on like current events and culture and biographies on main people in history, that kind of shit. And yeah, he would do these videos and talk about the culture. And like, for instance, all of the immigration going into Europe right now and now in the United States, he had already talked about all of that. I don't know, 15 years ago, however long it's been now. So
okay.
yeah, so like I kind of had watched it, start long time ago now. And yeah, it's just been slowly unfolding exactly what I was kind of told it would happen. And not saying he's a prophet or anything like that, but just using philosophy and statistics and like looking at graphs
and
you can
history.
yeah, you can track all of that exactly in the history. You can track all of that stuff, and it wasn't that surprising. I don't know, it's kind of weird actually, kind of knowing, kind of expecting what's going to happen and then actually seeing it unfold. Now, learning about Marxism and stuff, again, listening to him, he's considered right wing and stuff like that. So he had some great, he did a great biography on Karl Marx. I don't know, and not only that, but get into conversations with Marxists and just debate them, and you get to listen to their thoughts and how they apply their, whatever you want to call their principles, if they have any. So I don't know. I'm not that surprised. I don't know. I guess I wasn't that surprised. I'm more surprised in watching the normies kind of react to everything has been interesting. Like the ones who fall for it, the ones who don't see it or ignore it. It kind of seems on purpose. So that's been more eye-opening than pretty much anything. So if that helps you answer your question.
No, it was actually quite a satisfactory answer to my question. And using the Socratic method, I try to practice that. I am not a debater. I don't give a crap. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not practiced in it. I don't have that much faith in myself to argue well, because I get worked up. I get worked up, and I get, and I'm like, I'll embarrass myself. I'll probably lose the debate. I'm not into it, but I do want to practice Socratic method a little more.
It does take practice. It does.
Yeah. Yeah. I should just practice with people that I mostly agree with.
Oh, even better is you just practice it with yourself. So you just like start questioning things like, well, why did I do that? And then when the answer comes up, then you ask that, you ask questions on, well, why do I think that? And, you just go through it with that. And yeah, starts with you. And then you know how to apply it to other people.
Right. Well, it makes sense. And I think I probably do practice with myself. Maybe I should.
I bet you do more than you think. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because I question everything. I cannot help myself. I question things that everybody is like, no, you don't question that. That is like proven science, and or how dare you if you question that, you're a terrible person.
Yeah. How dare you?
Yes. And how dare you is not exclusively a left-leaning thing. I guarantee that.
Yes.
Hey, you came here and you're doing all these appearances because you want to talk about your book.
I do. Well, I at least want to sell my book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, last I checked, and I think it was this way when you were over on Good Stuffs a couple hours ago, looks like you're $30 away from making your goal.
So close. Yeah, I'm literally like one backer away.
Dude, I would love for that to happen with Creative Chaos. Anybody that's here that knows that they're going to back the book, go do it now so I can like take credit that, okay, Creative Chaos got Aaron over the goal. And maybe I can get more guests.
As someone who hosts a show, I've been doing a YouTube show off and on for, I don't know, 3 years or something. And it's like when you actually help the guest get a sale, it's like the best thing. Like, I'm like, heck yeah, I did it.
Oh, man. It's funny because I have only been on one show where I made a sale live, and I was over the moon. I was like, wow, somebody backed live. Because they even dropped in chat, like, I backed this. And I'm like, oh, you're the first person to ever do that. I wish I remember what show that was now.
It's so cool. It's fun.
So this is your second book. It's Immortal Rising 2. And you said that you had kind of come up with it because of your D&D campaigns.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you tell everybody what your book's about?
All right. So I guess the core of the story is like this group of strangers are kind of like they're thrust together with extenuating circumstance, right? Like there's a war going on. They don't know about it. They kind of I guess I'm losing my elevator pitch, aren't I? So yeah, it's basically these young guys and girl, they are thrust together. They have to kind of overcome each other's differences. And, like there's elves and humans, there's rangers and princes and whatever. So they are kind of put in this survival situation, and not only they have to survive like monsters and things like that, but each other as well. And they have to kind of like, the first arc is kind of like them figuring out how to get over their differences and become a team, right? Now, on top of that kind of core story, There's also a side story called Knights of Locutus. It's 10 pages. It's also included in the book. And that one is kind of like a Clash of the Titans, where like you can see the gods, right? Like in Knights of Locutus, you follow the gods around, or two of the main gods, and you get to see their perspective on the overall plot, which is this bad guy, right? This like Satan kind of figure. He invades a planet with his empire, his empress, in hopes to recover a long lost artifact that he thinks will help him finally end the war and kill his creator once and for all. So, which triggers everything, right? The creator god randomly teleports his different, different creations to the planet where perhaps he's at. It's a little bit of a mystery, so I can't go into too much of it. But yeah, there's basically three plots, I guess, going on at once, but they all do tie together. They all make sense over time. And I don't know, it's so fun because it's unique. It's like, I like to compare it as, if Castlevania and Final Fantasy, became one thing, it would be really close to what Immortal Rising is,
All right. And often I don't bring up campaigns, but I dropped the link and I believe my producer has it now. I would like to look at your Indiegogo because I am asking for anybody out there in Creative Chaos Land to go and back the book. $30 to get Aaron to goal. I'd love if that happened live while we're looking at it. But cause if you can just scroll down to the big titted blue chick, I want to know more about this character. I know everybody's loving her.
Everybody's loving it.
All right, who is she? What's her purpose?
So she is the empress of the evil empire, right? The satanic kind, or it's not really Satan, but the bad guy, the bad god. He has turned on his creator, and in doing so, he's made a empire to serve his will, right? And she is the head of that empire. And so her whole mission is to invade this planet of named Terra to find his lost artifact, the ruby. So that's her main goal. And she goes in with like spaceships and dragons and shit, and tries to lay siege and basically rape the planet of Terra, which we'll see over the course of a few different, few issues. Sorry.
Okay. Got it. So she's a bad chick.
Oh yeah, she's a naughty goth chick. Yeah, Dommy mommy.
Nice. Is there anything that you like? If you were to be talking to a potential backer who said, "Oh, I can't drop, the most money on this, but I want to help you out," what do you think you would? Which tier would you direct them towards?
Okay, so I think that the best, probably the one of the best and most affordable would be the $35 premium bundle, because that gets the full story. It gets the all the extra art that would be included in that. It gets the special covers, all of that. That's probably your best bet. If the 35 plus shipping is a little too much. Or maybe you don't want both of the books. You're just like, well, let me just try it out. Let me see how it is, which I think is a mistake. I think you're just going to love it. But if you just want to try it out, I've got the Immortal Rising #1 floppies, which it's a $10 tier. That means that the floppies are $5. And those floppies are the premium book cut in half and made into a floppy. So it doesn't have the 80-pound glossy perfect bound, but it will have 70-pound paper, as well as saddle stitched, classic floppy. And it won't necessarily have the extra art, but it will have things like, previously on Immortal Rising, or, to be continued on Immortal, that kind of thing. So it doesn't have like maybe character sheets or character design art like the premiums will, but that's about as bare bones as you can go. It's $10 for 2 books. It's 50 pages total. plus shipping, which I think for US shipping it's $10. I think that's what I went with. I can't remember. It's
Okay.
been a while. So yes, so basically $20 total, but that is that's the next best deal. It's
All
like,
right.
well, I
Well,
don't know this guy, I don't know his world and all that stuff. I just want to check it out. That would be my suggestion. Get the floppy.
yeah. And so how long ago did you launch your first Immortal Rising? So basically, like, how long have you been in this, crowdfunding indie space?
Well, first I started my own YouTube channel to get into the indie crowdfunding space. So I had originally done the first issue with a different artist, an amateur artist that I met. He's from I think he was from Indonesia, and yeah, it was cool and everything. I liked his art, and we were okay. Had a lot of problems talking with him because the Indonesian government kept shutting off their internet. So, and obviously we can't send things through the mail. So, yeah, that was pretty difficult. But during that time, while I was waiting for the first issue to finish, I met Jose, my interior artist now, Jose Garcia, and who did Crimson Rain for Clownfish TV. Maybe somebody recognizes that name. And then after I met him, I had him do the Knights of Locutus story, and his background is in animation. Like I remember when I first met him, I was like, what are your qualifications? Can you do sequential art and stuff like this? And he's like, he responded with like a paragraph of all of the different animation studios he's worked for in the last like 10 years or some shit. And I'm like, well, I think you qualify. So I gave him the script, 10-page script, and he got it completely finished and back to me in like a week. And I'm like, holy cow, and with his caliber of art, and you can like kind of just scroll through and see that it's not amateurish, right? And so I was blown away, and I'm like, well, I've got this side story which I created because like the first book was kind of slow, and I wanted to keep the creative energy going towards the project. So I was like, well, let me try a different perspective, and that's how Knights of Locutus was born. So I had him do that story, and I tried launching that first book. I didn't have any networking. I just like, well, I'll put it on Kickstarter, and Kickstarter, is like a mall, right? It's a storefront. Somebody will see it. Somebody will buy it, right? No, nobody bought it. Nobody cared because there's zero networking, right? There's no market presence at all. I just threw it out there like an idiot because originally it was just made for me and basically my friends, and if I found anybody who might be interested in it. But after I got to work with Jose, I was like, dang, like I want to take this even farther. I want to be able to sell this to a wider audience, right? And so I was like, Jose, what do I do? How do I get this into people's faces? How do I get known? How do I network and market and all this stuff? And that's when he told me about Michael Bancroft's show and Comicsgate. I was like, all right. So I went and I checked it out, and saw like the chat and how they were basically very counterculture, and it's just lively. Everybody was having fun, and so I was charmed by Bancroft, and so I started following other people that use the Comicsgate hashtag. I wasn't even on Twitter at first. So Jose was also like, well, you also got to get on Twitter because that's where you can network and all this other stuff. So I did all of that, and I still hadn't kind of gotten to where I remade the first issue yet. Instead, I was like, no, I'm going to take my time with this. And so I made my own YouTube channel, and I was like, I'm going to start interviewing all these indie creators and finding out like answers to questions that I have. Because there's a plenty of stuff I didn't even consider or even think about when I first started. So I spent like a year doing shows and stuff. And after about a year, I was like, all right, I'm ready. And I had Jose redo the first issue for me. So I had, continuity of art. And I relaunched it with my first campaign being that was about a year and a half ago. So I launched that one. Success about five, I think it was 5 or 6 grand, closer to 5 grand. So everything went off really well, well received and all that stuff. And and I kept doing my YouTube. I think I took a summer off from YouTube, came back with kind of like a new gimmick and stuff like that. But I waited to launch number 2 because I had Jose do number 2 already. I kind of skipped over that part, but I wasn't ready to to launch that. So I was like, you know what I got to do. I didn't like when I made the first one. I did not like how I don't have any knowledge on how to do graphic design, any graphic design, software, anything like that. So a friend of mine, the Chris Fisk of Infinitel Comic, I was like, hey, he was my co-host on my show. I was like, you've got plenty of knowledge. Will you just teach me Photoshop so I can I can do corrections and I can make my own graphics and all the other stuff. And so he agreed after I threatened him. He agreed. And after like 4 months or something like that, I finally had a working campaign page and all that stuff. So that's why instead of a year, it turned into a year and a half because I took time out to learn Photoshop. So then finally I took about a month off to make sure I had everything well and I was ready to go. Started contacting people and finally launched the campaign. And it's going well so far.
I personally would say if there were one thing that you need to learn if you wanted to get into some kind of graphic thing that you're doing, learn freaking Photoshop. You will use the heck out of it, and you won't. Gosh, I'm on Photoshop all the time making graphics and I'm so happy that I know it. So good for you.
Thank you.
It's been nice because I can go back.
What's that?
How do you think your skill level is at Photoshop now?
Well, on a 1 to 10, I feel like it's probably like a 2 or a 3, but I'm able to do what I need to get done, right? I can move dialogue bubbles around. I made all of the perk tiles. So all that stuff, like with the magazine, it's got like the actual pages under the cover and all that stuff. He showed me how to do all that kind of stuff. So
what a pal.
But I know there's a lot there that I still don't know. So I just because for him, he'll be like, oh yeah, and do that and then do this and do that and do that, because we would sit in like StreamYard and he would see what I'm working on and stuff like that. And then, so that was like the first couple of times. And then over time, it was just like, we were hanging out and he watched me work. And if I had any questions, he would, he'd be like, oh, it's right there. Remember when I said that kind of stuff. So yeah, fucking Chris is awesome.
Awesome. Well, I think we did pretty good pitching your campaign. I'm hoping by the end of Creative Chaos, we get that last $30. So anybody that is interested in what Aaron's saying about it, Immortal Rising 2, head over to that link at Indiegogo and go back his campain today. It'd be great.
I will say, so
get you over the finish line.
Thank you. Some of the great feedback I've gotten is, some of the tabletop guys are like, this feels exactly like like this is the beginning of a great D&D campaign. Like this feels, it's just like it. And other things for the art is like, the art looks like you're reading an anime. With Jose's style, it's very anime manga inspired, but it's not a slave to it. Like he has his own thing going on. And so, like I've heard it compared, it's like, oh, it's Western anime. Yeah, I guess so. But like with his colors, his page composition, things like that, you're not going to find pretty much anywhere else that I've seen. Not to put everybody down or nothing, but like Jose is a very unique artist, and I'm so grateful to be working with him. Like with the unique setting, you got like this alien invasion on a world that's ruled by undead lords, and stuff like that. So there's a lot going on, and he makes it all make sense. Like his composition for the pages feels like a scene that you're watching. I've heard it compared to like watching a Netflix cartoon, It's like, dang, I agree. I see what you're saying. So yeah, if you're looking for a unique experience like that, go check it out. Go get that $10 tier. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, $10. Come on, you cannot beat that unless, of course, you're subscribing to Flip City. Then you can beat that.
So one of my best sellers, I launched it and I had an early bird card of the Empress, but that was only for the first 2 weeks. And so when I did that on Indiegogo, you got to go back through and take out all those early bird perks and replace it with not early bird perks, right? And so I think the biggest sellers that I had was the 4 floppies is like $20 plus shipping. So you get, basically 4 comics for $20. That's was it like 100 pages for $20? Not bad. So that was a big one, as well as the $35 for the 2 premiums. Yeah, those are like my hotcakes. So go figure out which one that you like. And then I also have add-ons of t-shirts, right? And I've got an add-on for the original comic version done by a different artist, which I only printed out 100 of those. I've got about 80 left. I think I had somebody claim it on this campaign as well. So I won't be reprinting them. Different artist is, floppy, saddle stitched and all that stuff. Still beautiful, glossy page. But I won't be going back to that, which makes it very rare. In fact, just wanted to kind of show, this is the original version. Some friends got together and paid for me to get it CGC'd. Just gorgeous.
Now I have seen those things. Now I'm not like really into comics and all that, but I know about the grading. How much does that cost to have done?
I want to say it was a gift to me. I want to say it was like $30, something like that, for each CGC. Yeah. And it took like months for it to happen. So I was blown away. I was like, holy cow. But and then t-shirts are an add-on as well, which I haven't done before. So that'll be interesting to kind of get into. And if you go to the if you're interested and you go to the campaign page, I've got all that stuff. Examples of all of the work and all that stuff. Next, I would say if you do have the cash, you're not strapped for cash, or you want to just jump in, maybe you back the first campaign and you liked what you saw. This one, I'm adding different stuff. I don't have the trading cards and posters like I did last time. This time, I'm just doing books. So I've got the 2 premiums, the 4 floppies, plus 2 ash cans that I did with Jose. One ash can was a black and white that we did for Arrow Comics for a anthology called Out of Obscurity. So that's in there. It's not medieval fantasy. It's like dystopian, futuristic kind of stuff. Super cool story. And then the other ash can is I think it's 8-page story, and that one it was in Immortal Rising universe. But it has nothing to do with the main story. It's just kind of like there to, have fun in the universe and see kind of like a side quest, right? That one's really neat. It's called Baphomet's Child. And that one was in Anvil magazine number 2, which I guess it's been like a year since that happened. I don't know. Oh, the time's been going.
Yeah, number 2. Yeah, time is flying by. In fact, we have flown by our very first segment by 9 minutes. This was supposed to happen 9 minutes ago, Aaron.
Sorry about that. Hey, you got me talking.
I know. And I'm sure you saw Vulcan Live said you have a lot of good options. And don't worry, this is still kind of about you, but I have a segment called Mansplain, and it seems like I always just have men on this show. It's like Sausage Party on Creative Chaos. So let's get into Mansplain so you can explain something to me.
All right.
You see, when someone lacks the brain power to thoughtfully navigate their way through a subject or idea, they need it to be explained to them, preferably by a man.
Yep. So I lack the brain power to deal with this one question. So you had mentioned not too long ago that you kind of you found out what Comicsgate was, and started watching Michael Bancroft stuff, and you really liked him. Now, us, I've kind of known what Comicsgate was for, a few years as well, but have not really participated because it scares me because of all the drama. Like there's a lot of drama in indie comics. Like it irritates me and also scares me because I hate drama. Like I'm scared of drama. So how do
Yeah.
you stay out of it? And do you have to pick a side? How does this all work?
I don't believe you have to pick a side. And really, it's like it seems like what like there's a few camps maybe. It's very tribal factions and stuff like that. Some mean girl attitude in there, but like there's only like a few people from maybe each tribe that is just the most vocal, and that it makes it look like everybody in all the camps are just squabbling, shit throwing mean girls, and that's not true. So
Okay.
yeah, you can be a neutral person and not have to choose any sides at all.
That is such wonderful news because I do wonder sometimes because I don't pay that much attention to the drama, but I
Yeah.
do watch some stuff. I'm like, okay, this has some good information in it, how to
Yeah.
and also I don't know what is it? Do I like drama? Because I do kind of know what's going on. Maybe I do
Well, like
after
for
all.
me, I feel protective of, say, Comicsgate, and mainly because they're the ones who buy my stuff. So when I see somebody kind of grouping all the Comicsgate together and saying bad stuff about it, it's like, well, that's a large crowd. It's not just like the 4 people that you're pissed off at on Twitter.
Now, do you
Like,
think it damages the reputation of like hashtag Comicsgate or the movement, or it's just something that comes naturally with, a bunch of humans working together?
I think it's that. I think definitely some of that is just like that's people and tribes and all other stuff. But I will say that it doesn't really matter, amongst itself. It's who and what those who oppose it refer to it as, right? So, right, like your opposition or your enemies or whatever, if they're the ones who keep talking about Comicsgate, say in the mainstream, as an example of counterculture in comics, then yeah, that's what it is. You can claim Comicsgate and be whoever, right? You can be. I've known trans dude who claimed Comicsgate, gay, black, whatever, white, it doesn't matter. Because the idea is that you are against the Marxism that is happening in the mainstream. And yeah, they're like, well, they're too liberal for me. I'm more conservative than that. It's like, but it encompasses a lot. It encompasses a lot of different types of people. And so you can't really pigeonhole it into what you think it is or what you say it is, So
Yeah,
yeah.
I think I saw that recently. Somebody describing Comicsgate as or somebody saying somebody else was describing Comicsgate as you can't be gay, you can't be this. I'm like, I don't think that's what it is. It's more like,
No.
you're in the indie space and you're not a freaking Marxist. You're not going to tell other
Yeah,
people,
basically.
how to live their lives.
Which right now is counterculture, because Marxism is rules right now. So if you're against the woke or whatever, like actually, and you want to buy people who don't come with like woke products, then yeah, that's where you want to be, is in the indie sphere right now. It's
Yeah.
particularly under those banners like Comicsgate or say Iron Age. Like that's exactly where you want to be buying.
Yep. That I guess I think would be the most encompassing way to describe it is if you're looking for stuff that you can guaranteed isn't woke, you look under Iron Age and Comicsgate. It's pretty much guaranteed. Nothing woke's
Yeah.
going to be under those. Yep.
Yeah, not that I've seen. And I've had my channel for a few years, and yeah, I have hashtag Comicsgate and Iron Age, and in the tabletop world, they've got their own stuff. So Like, and I've had them all on my show, but the whole point was that they weren't Marxists. And I've even had a Marxist or two on my show. But overall, they're not pushing ideology. They're trying to push, just like their art, their expression. And most of them are not Marxists. So, you'll have that.
Cool.
Now try having someone who's not a Marxist on a Marxist show. That's a totally different thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's basically just shout them down the whole time. Well, you talk a lot about Marxism, and that makes me think you're probably a conspiracy theorist. So let's get into conspiracy corner.
You see, when someone lacks the brain power to
I want to live with a conspiracy.
Hey, did that go all the way?
No, it didn't. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Let me run it one more time. Let everybody hear it.
Let's do it.
I want to live with a conspiracy girl. I could be prepping the rest of my life with a conspiracy girl.
Those weren't aliens.
Love you, Media Bear / Dr. Clown. Thank you for the awesome bumper music. I did not see Dr. Clown check in tonight, but that is okay. Good friend of Flip City Magazine, and we've had him on the show a couple of times as well. Savagely hilarious parody music guy. So that was our stinger. All right, so we are now in Creative Chaos's Conspiracy Corner. We can talk all things conspiracy, anything you want. You can choose the topic, or we can go to the Wheel of Conspiracy. It's a newer thing where the wheel chooses for you. You want to do the wheel?
Let's do the wheel. Put them on the wheel.
I'm going to tell you how the wheel works. So,
all right.
And I haven't changed. I have a misspelling in here. It's supposed to be angels, but it's spelled angles because I'm an idiot. Nobody mansplained how to spell angels. All right, so here's how it goes. It's a full wheel of different topics. Some of them cross over, because that's how conspiracies work. But you actually get 3 spins. So if you don't like the first 2, you can spin, but you're stuck with the third no matter what it is. So that's how the wheel works.
Sounds good.
All right, let's spin that wheel, Cause.
Ooh.
Okay, so you can talk on Are Aliens Real, or you can spin again if you want to try your luck. Press your luck.
I'm all right with anything. I'll just talk, dude. I'm cool.
You obviously can talk. All right, we're doing Are Aliens Real. All right, let's do it. Are they real? What's up with the aliens?
Are aliens real? So I don't think that the X-Files aliens thing is real. I don't think that. I think that there are extra terrestrials. There's life forms in other worlds. I do agree that's not only possible but most likely. As far as like UFOs and stuff like that, I think that is I think that's just tech that was developed earlier on in the century and was kind of put aside, forgotten, or not told to anybody. Most likely not told, right? There's a lot going on with tech that I don't think a lot of people understand. So, like for instance, field science and things like that. Like modern science does not actually, when they say things like the field theory, they don't actually have a definition for things like fields. They don't. So I don't know, people argue and all that stuff, but the real point is that real technology that other than combustion engines, it's more primitive than using actual field or aetherite kind of technology, which was created, wouldn't say, or I guess discovered, however you want to, by men like Tesla, Oliver Heaviside, Proteus Steinmetz, guys like that in the early 1900s. And notice I didn't say Einstein, but anyways, and those theories, the people that gave us our modern world, electronic world, like the AC generator, Wi-Fi technology, stuff like that, radio. Yeah, those guys who actually made practical science pioneered aether technology. So I think that's what the UFOs are. Now, like I said, aliens themselves coming here, maybe. I don't know. I would assume it would be more like a interdimensional thing. I don't necessarily think that they are flying cajillion miles from one solar system to another. But and if they were, they wouldn't be hiding. Like, why would they need to?
Okay, so really thinking that people aliens are probably exist or may exist, but they're likely interdimensional and are not flying spacecraft. The spacecraft that we're seeing, or the UFOs, the UAPs, stuff like that, that is all just our own tech. Now, what about aliens living on Earth already? Like inside Earth.
I mean, that could be a thing. Yeah, like lizard people under the
or
in the dirt or
underwater.
something. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, like why would they need to interact with us? You know, I've heard some of what was it, that one guy? There was this one video floating around. It had to have been done in the 90s, and it was I think it was Schneider, I think it was his name. And he was talking about how he helped build DUMBs, the deep underground military bases, and how there's like lizard people deep down below, and they countered them, and they're violent, and they like shoot you with like, electro guns or whatever. Yeah, maybe that's a thing, but I don't know. Why wouldn't they come out? Like, why wouldn't? Because like, generally, if something's dominant, it will just dominate. And I would assume that they would be able to take over humans pretty easily if they had superior technology.
Yeah. Well, I mean, have you ever heard the theory of like battling alien races over humanity? There's like some good aliens that want to see us like evolve and all that, and then other aliens that just kind of want to live off us, like leeches.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I mean, that could be a reason that they don't really show themselves, because the good aliens are like kind of like, taking care of us or something, and beating down the
like,
reptilians.
There are secret good big brother.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know
the
either.
Nephilim. Yeah, the Nephilim. I don't know if I think that like because a sentient being necessarily have to be a physical one either. So
that's true.
I mean, as far as I can tell, a highest level of existence is something that has consciousness. So, it would have to be at least a form of consciousness.
Right. Absolutely. And I just want to say, Truth Quest, Aaron Moriarty over on Rumble says, look at Bob Lazar. Somebody that I've been listening to a little bit lately. Every Sunday he does a stream is, now I forgot his name, but he's on Ancient Aliens. I forgot what his name is. On Ancient Aliens, he basically looked like Tom Petty's little brother that got braces. I forgot what his name was, though. Oh, darn. But I've been enjoying him. What about crop circles?
I don't know. I'm not sure what to make out of those. Because like I've seen like the debunking stuff, and just some farmers went out into their fields and pushed them down with boards or something. I don't know that I believe that.
I don't either, especially when you see side by sides.
Yeah. It's like how intricate it is, and like it only affects, it lays it down in this way or whatever. I don't know how they're doing that kind of stuff. I don't know. And then why?
Right, exactly. Well, like I said, that guy, Tom Petty's little brother with braces that got braces when they were younger. Gosh, I wish I could remember his name right now. Anyway, yeah, like he very much believes in, the benevolent alien races that are, fighting, the bad races for the good of humanity and our evolution and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
But he says basically that the crop circles are messages, to the human race, and he picks them apart and shows all the symbology and all that. It's fascinating.
Oh, okay. So
It's
he can
fascinating.
actually decipher them?
Well, I think he can, because I sat and watched him pick one apart live, and he was showing the imagery and saying, okay, this is the button that they want to push to, like stop mankind from doing this. But then that also could be the hand of God pushing the button and all this. But of course, it's all up for interpretation,
Right.
So,
Yeah. There's not like a manual where you
Right.
can decode it.
Right,
That'd be nice.
exactly. Okay, well, I've quite enjoyed this Creative Chaos Conspiracy Corner, because we didn't get something terrible like, eugenics
Oh
or
gosh.
chemtrails.
Don't mention the bad stuff. Yeah, don't mention.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and leave Conspiracy Corner on a high note tonight, and we like to close out the show with Flip City branded. We do not actually get a hot branded iron to like poke you with or anything, like those sex cults.
Oh, that's too bad.
But we do make you read something, and I really do try to pick things that kind of relate to the guest. And Flip City really doesn't do a lot of fantasy, but we do have one piece, and I've reserved it for you, and it's a short story. All right,
Okay.
so this is called Fortresses and Fire Drakes, okay? It's a 3-page piece. If you don't feel like reading the entire thing, totally fine. We can read just the first page, and there's a few characters here. So if we zoom in, hey, Cause, if we can zoom in just on the picture first. Let's move that on over. We've got Rosie the Gnome, and I can definitely do that voice. And then we have Gay Ladriel over on the right, who is an elf. And then we have Saint Grishnak, who's the half orc. I'm sure you see him on the left.
All right.
And then Big Wiz, the hill giant. And I was thinking I could do the voice of Rosie the Gnome and try Big Wiz, but you're reading everything else. So basically, you'll have 2 voices to make and then read everything else. But when I see, when it's quotes on Rosie, I'll take it, and quotes on Big Wiz, I'll take it. How's that sound?
I will try.
All right, let's try this thing. I'm gonna make my screen full screen here. All right, here we go. And I get to start. Can you believe how regressive those villagers were?
Oh, should I read that?
Yes.
Said Rosie the Gnome.
They acted like we were raiders or something.
The 4 heroic companions had just entered the Forbidden Forest on a quest to vanquish the dreaded necromancer. They were a new breed of hero, no longer constrained by the outdated limitations imposed by the kingdom's original inhabitants. In fact, the Fortress of Progress had... I need to scroll down a little bit. The fortress... Oh, there we go. In fact, the Forces of Progress had... Uh-oh, it's not full screen. Oh, there we go. Had taken over this mythical land, and the stale heroes of yesterday found themselves crowded out by a fresh, diverse cast of adventurers. That sounds like my job. Rosie was one of the new heroes. As a diminutive gnome, people might have once laughed at her dream of becoming a mighty warrior, but now that she wore a revealing steel brassiere and carried a heavy sword, it was illegal to laugh at her. Oh, should I do Gay Ladriel?
Yes, you're Gay Ladriel, and I think you can guess what she might sound like.
She or he? You gotta us raiders. They should be so lucky, said Gay Ladriel. The legendary elven bard had exchanged his high-level jester's attire for a dress, and even in the wilderness, he, or rather she, made sure to put on plenty of makeup. Thanks to the Grand Reset, raiders have been enriching the lives of peasants throughout the land, and the uptick in dragon activity has saved us from overpopulation. But all they can do is complain about the price of grain. They don't get it. Saint Grishnak slapped a gauntleted fist against his palm. As a half-orc, the team's cleric had once been denied entry into the Church of the God of Justice. Now the green-skinned champion was feared throughout the land by Monitar's divine beard. Oh, maybe not. Sorry. I think I messed up my voice.
Oh, so sorry, Aaron. want me to take him?
Yes, please.
By Montar's divine beard, they too stupid to know that we enriching their culture. What say we go back there and knock sense into their heads?
I'm dying.
Yeah.
I can't. Nay, old friend. Yeah. We must continue on to the frightful keep of the necromancer. Said Big Wiz, a hill giant in ornate robes. Man, I'm sorry, my voice is killing.
I feel so bad. We
The
screwed up
lumbering
Aaron's
master
voice.
of the arcane arts pointed into the murky gloom.
Bad danger! There! You look now!
Following the wizard's sage advice, our heroes peered ahead, then fell back as a gang of shrieking orcs leaped out at them, sharp fangs clacking. The painted beasts brandished their chipped axes and studded clubs with lethal intent.
Look out, boys!
Said Rosie. The diminutive powerhouse unsheathed her sword, then struck a dramatic pose.
Time to show these.
Her words were drowned out by the sound of an orc's steel-shod boot slamming into her shield, followed by the hollow gong of her shield bouncing off of her own forehead.
Is there more at the bottom here? Okay, Aaron, you are released. We are not going to read the rest of this story because for you, I feel bad.
No, not at all. I hadn't warmed up, so it's totally my fault.
La 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 la.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You are now Flip City branded.
Yes, I did it.
Exactly. So that was pretty much one of our stabs at making a really great fantasy story.
Yeah, I liked it.
One for the ages. Huh?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Well, basically they all get their asses kicked because, they're all wokeified and not taking their correct roles in society.
They're all DEI hires.
Yes, basically. So they go down to the tubes, they get killed by all the villagers at the end. And if you want to see the whole story, you can find that in a Flip City magazine. I forgot which edition though. So go buy all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, go pick them up.
Yeah. FlipCityMag.com. Well, so where can people find you? Where do you like people to follow you?
On Twitter, you can follow me at Immortalizing1. That's a really good place to find me. I post all the time, not only for my own stuff, but I'm constantly sharing out other indie people and creations. But also, I do my own show. Go on YouTube, go to Immortal Rising Comic Book, and sub me there. I do a Friday night show with a couple of other guys, Jason Sandberg and Craig Wright of Soultac, the comic book Soultac. We the three of us do we co-host a show together where we invite in an indie creator, mostly comics. We've also done like this week is a tabletop guy. I don't know. We're gonna have, I think, Peter Samedi on next week. This week is Yang Yan Zhao, if you know who that is. Then next week is Peter Samedi, and then the week after that will be Michael Bancroft. So yeah, we've got some good stuff coming up, and the idea of the show is like, we introduce everybody. We talk about kind of catch up on things. Like it's kind of like a late night show where like when they used to be good. So like, we're kind of sit around, we all joke around. We bring up 3 topics, and I've kind of been doing a quiz on one of the topics each week. So, and it's all for fun and laughs. And then we, so then you get to know the indie guy that the guest that we have. And then the last half of the show or whatever is them, going over their product. So it's a great show. It's fun. And the chat is great. We have a good response in the chat too. So it's fun.
I'm sorry, what night is that again?
It's Friday nights at 10 o'clock Eastern. It's a little show called Friday Nights with a K. So,
okay. Okay, cool. I saw somewhere somebody was bringing your show up.
Yeah.
This happened on Friday nights.
I was on the Man Cave, right, with Good Stuff in Belmont, and somebody in the chat brought it up because they bought my book last week or whatever on Friday nights. So, yeah, go check us out. It's fun.
Cool. Well, before we get out of here, tell me how much you love your backers.
My backers are everything to me. I would not and could not be doing this without them. So next to my family, I would say is my backers. So I love them to death, and I will do whatever I can to make them happy.
Yep. And that is what you get with supporting indie creators. Every single person that supports you, you love them and you do everything you can to make them happy, unless, of course, they just won't be happy.
There's that too.
Then you say, I tried. I really did my best. But I don't know. Like, for me personally, we do what we do a lot for the love and the respect of other people. And, and
I love it. It's such a great artistic output for me that I can show other people, because it's really cool. It's really fun what we got going on with Immortal Rising, and we're basically, although we've been at it for a few years, like I'm looking at this as like a marathon. Like this is hopefully will be an ongoing series. It will at least be these 3 books and maybe a couple of side books. But if I can get enough people interested, which I haven't even gone to like physical conventions yet. Most of this has just been online even. So if I can get enough interest in this, I don't plan on stopping. I would like this to be remembered like like an Elf Quest, only maybe a little bit more dark.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you're doing a really good job for, especially like it being only your second book. I feel like you will be able to build it into the thing that you want it to be. So super congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And Cause, do you want to represent what you do, you and Batman do together?
I can do that if I turn on my microphone. I'm just miscuing all over the place tonight.
You're fine.
You can
at least your voice didn't go out.
You can find me on the 3 Beer Men with Bruce, Norm, and the Hawk. Beer is entirely optional. Besides beer, we also talk about pop culture and technology. That's Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Twitter X, Foxhole, DLive, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitch, and now on YouTube on the Madness Comic Network. I highly recommend checking out Madness Comic Network, and not just because Pops asked me to be his business partner. So.
Yeah. I just love that you guys hooked up on Creative Chaos. We love Madness Comic Network, and I can't wait until we all get over there on that Roku channel together. You can catch the replay of Creative Chaos on Madness Comic Network on Saturdays, and I don't know exactly what time. I'm not sure if Pops has an exact set time for us. So check out Madness Comic Network over on YouTube. You'll see all kinds of different shows, mostly hosted, I'd say, by indie creators. I'm assuming you've poked around over there, right, Cause?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I watch a lot of the shows now. As a matter of fact, we're going to be having another one of the regular creators over there on the Beer Men very soon.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
So we'll leave that to be a surprise.
Okay, that'll be a surprise. You don't have to announce that over here on Creative Chaos. And then, of course, everybody come back next week and hang out with us. I forgot to write down who my guest is. I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah. I've got, God, names are escaping me tonight. He's the one doing, it's John. Sean, who's doing the Yellow Flash thing. You know him, Aaron, don't you?
I don't know. I may not. I'm not sure.
John Dillard. John
Oh,
Dillard
okay.
will be
There we go.
my guest next week.
Yeah, I think he does all the art for that, right? He's also
Yes.
doing the art for Belmont's new book as well.
I heard that today.
Pencils Down. Yeah.
So that'll be exciting to talk to him next week. So come back next week, 6 p.m., 5:45 if you want to see who the opening band is. I'm sorry, 5:50 is when the house band starts. And then Creative Chaos at 6 o'clock. And we're hanging out with Sean from Yellow Flash. All right. We will see you guys next week. Thank you so much, Aaron, for being here. We'll see you guys.
Thank you, chat. Bye.
My name is Bigfoot. I fly a spaceship. You might not see me unless you're patient. Yeah, catch me in my saucer. Yeah, catch me in my UFO. Baby, I'm a monster. Yeah, maybe you don't know. My name is Skunk Ape. I smell like bad stuff. Except on Sundays I work at NASA. Yeah, catch me in my saucer. Yeah, catch me in my UFO. Baby, I'm a monster. Yeah, maybe you don't know. My name is Sasquatch. I'm still on my space. And when I blast off, I transcend time, space. Yeah, catch me in my saucer. Yeah, catch me in my UFO. Baby, I'm a monster. Yeah, maybe you don't know.
What about the youth today? What about drugs today? What about corruption of the morals of our youth? The CIA is the biggest drug dealer in America. It has been for years. You want documentation on drugs being flown in plastic bags in the body cavities of the dead GI? Look at Time Magazine, January 1, 1970. What's going on in America today? Their plot, their plan, their conspiracy remains invisible. The Black Rose is the code word for this. It's a clandestine group of U.S. government operatives, primarily the CIA, which has for many years run illegal drugs and arms operations in both Southeast Asia via the Golden Triangle and the Middle East via the Golden Crescent, funded by the British socialist-based Russell Trust drug cartel. The Black Rose's current chairman and co-founder is an individual known as the White Rose, or GHWB, a known bisexual pedophile and CFR Council on Foreign Relations conspirator. These are the people that run the world. These are the Illuminati. Very simple.